Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Frums reaction. It's weird saying another when I really only ever expect to get one song from that composer. But this is another one from a composer we've already had appear on the channel before, and this is Credits Long. It's written like that. Credits Long, specifically. So I'm gonna get to hear what this one is like. I loved Options EX, so I'm expecting that this one's gonna be maybe around the same vibe, but I really don't know with these producers, especially the indie side of producing. They can really have so many genres in their belt ready to go, so maybe this will be something completely different, but I won't know if I don't start. So without further ado, let's go.
Now for the official National Weather Service forecast for Massachusetts and cited by
still using the
including Boston
samples in the same way at least.
Thursday, October 22nd. Tonight, mostly cloudy with isolated showers until midnight, then mostly clear after midnight. Lows in the lower 40s.
A little jazzy riff going.
With gusts up to 25 miles an hour. Chance of rain 20%. Friday, sunny. Much cooler with highs in the lower 50s. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts up to 25 miles an hour. Friday night, mostly
really chill start.
North winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Saturday.
But you know something's coming, you just don't know what. Ooh. This transition feels very like 2010. It's kind of giving Launchpad vibes. The Sean Washabi special. Ooh. That's a different vibe, though. Kind of getting more of a Jet Set Radio feel out of that. Ooh. An asynchronous rhythm. Ooh, more of it. Trying to feel out the beat, but man, I don't think you even can at that point. Ooh, ooh. Messing it up even more. This one's a lot more simple than Options was. But that means there's more room to do things. So I'm even more cautious going into this one. I'm afraid to say something, because anything could happen at any time. Why does this song feel purple? I don't think I've ever said that before. That might be a first. But something about this song feels like the color purple. I love the vocal chopping. It's just so much fun. Ooh. Oh, there was more. I thought we were done there. You let it kind of just blow away in the wind there. Vibing. I don't know why, but I'm vibing, dude. I love that rhythm there, the do 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 boo. It's just a nice progression there. So now I can confirm to myself that Frums' music just sounds like if analog horror had a specific sound instead of just a visual aesthetic. It sounds like this would accompany that sort of thing, but it's also not really horror. It's more of like just the vibes of nostalgia from back in the day, really playing with those samples, of course, and having a lot of that play into it. But it feels like the dreams you have that are kind of like non-directional. There's no real point to them. There's constant changes. There's just something about the way he produces that feels so true, like real down to the ground analog vibes, no funny business, no fancy shit, just kind of messing around in the space and having fun with those aesthetic properties. And that's what's really cool about it. Like I said, this kind of feels like I'm dreaming, and maybe that's part of me just remembering those old analog days of my childhood and kind of having that vibe kind of lull me to sleep. I was the kid who was getting woken up at 3 a.m. by those stupid commercials on like Nick at Night and such. And I'm sure at least some of you can relate to that, but like that's the vibe I was getting out of this. And maybe that's why it felt so specifically like the color purple. Not because of the movie The Color Purple, that doesn't have anything to do with it, not the book, but more just like the mood in the room feels purple. Probably because the glow of the TV feels blue, and because at nighttime you get that sense of like the darkness, and maybe that's kind of like turning that color property a little bit more, deep in my brain to more of an indigo maybe. This is really weird to like associate colors to music for me. It's not something I do a lot, but when it happens hard, and this song feels purple. Maybe there's something in the back of my mind thinking of like a stormy night or something with like the purple sunset or something, and maybe that again associating to my childhood. Maybe there's just that nostalgic feeling in there, but I cannot place my finger on what exactly it is. The choice to like randomly mess with the rhythms and such too, it always makes things feel off. It doesn't feel good in a traditional way because you're not landing on an even beat, and that's kind of what most people anticipate when they're listening to a rhythm. So messing around with these rhythms makes you feel a little bit off, and maybe that's why I'm feeling a little bit off too. It's shifty. It's not really landing anywhere, and it's like, some of the song was. Honestly, most of the song was. But for those sections that weren't, it was really messing with me in a more profound way than usual. I always listen to those rhythms, and I always try to figure out what they are. I'm not that great with time signature stuff myself. I'm very much a 4 on the floor sort of person. I like to just do a standard beat, but I appreciate these interesting, more off-kilter beats, these ones that are just completely asynchronous and don't really have a sense to them in a general way. Of course, they have some sense to them. You can always route any song back to the 1 on any rhythm, but it's just the complexity of that kind of shifts my brain around and makes me kind of feel a little bit uneasy in a way, and that's what this song was kind of doing. But it wasn't like an unsafe unease either. It felt somehow like a weird static hug. I don't know if that's the right way to word that, but it feels right. But there really just are producers out there, and Frums is a great example of this, who just have such a creative vision that people like me, despite my best efforts, can never really feel exactly what they were feeling when producing songs like this. It might even be to the point that they weren't actually thinking of much. They were just like, hey, this would sound cool. That happens a lot when people who are like this creative with their sound aren't really trying to do good. They're just naturally that good at just messing around and figuring out what sounds good to them, and other people agree. But sometimes, and I feel that is the case here, is that Frums has a vision for these songs. These are too similar in their tone and general approach, like the other one, the Options one, and this one just have a very specific vibe to go for. So I feel like it would be a disservice to say it's anything but that. I feel like Frums has a significant vision, but I can't tell what it is because I'm not them, and I don't know if anybody else in the world would ever be able to have the same vision that they did making the song. I'm sure the comment sections of this video is probably a bunch of people saying what they feel, just like I am now, but like, do we know, can we tell what Frums themselves is thinking? Like, sometimes people will talk about it. Sometimes people will do interviews and explain their thought process behind their art, and those are always really interesting to me, but I feel like Frums wouldn't be able to actually vocalize the feelings. These are like, kind of with me associating it to a color, are these abstract thoughts that he's placing into the song and making that a reality for us, and just kind of taking a texture, a color, a random thought process, not a thought, not an idea, not really even a story, just kind of piecing together abstract concepts into a song. Very difficult to do as well, and also just insanely like cerebral on that way, where it doesn't really have as much of an emotional tie as it does a logical tie. And if that is the case, Frums does a really good job at putting it into its place. But also, again, will we ever really know what Frums is actually thinking during these songs, or does Frums just kind of make stuff happen because that's what the brain fuzz is telling them to do? But I think I'm digging way too deep into this, getting way too introspective, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to request something else for me to get to, drop it in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to it. Or if you want to guarantee one, much like Joshua did on this one, you can join the tiers on my Patreon and YouTube members that guarantee a request. I have to listen to it no matter what it is, no matter if it's this cerebral and interesting or if it's frankly kind of boring. Whatever you want, I will listen to it. That's why the tier is there. But either way, if you just enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!